Hello, this is Caveats here with Old and New Movie Review. For the first ever review, I wanted to do a movie that I really love, that holds up to this day, something that everyone can actually appreciate. So I chose The Matrix. The movie came out in 1999, and I still think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. So, let's get started. Number one, was it good and did you like it? I mean, that's pretty obvious. I kind of said that already in my introduction. Yes, I absolutely love this movie. It has everything that I could ever want in a movie. So, what did I like about it? The Matrix, I mean, it's amazing for so many different reasons. The acting is actually on point, which is surprising when you look at Keanu Reeves' work around the same area of time. It's you got Speed, which is a good movie, but for the most part, it's not known for its acting or anything. But I think when Keanu is put in positions like this, he shined through. He really went above and beyond. He tried his best. Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, everyone in the roles that they had to do, the dark and the ominous tone of the whole situation. I mean, it really shined through. They actually got actors that took the roles seriously. It was just awesome. So you can empathize with them too. So anytime Keanu Reeves is actually going through something or confused or anything like that, you can empathize with his character. He's good at actually making you care about his character. So there's a lot of movies that you don't care about the character. You're just watching them go through their stuff. They get shot, they get hurt. It's like, oh, okay, that guy did that. Who cares? This one, I mean, Keanu actually got the audience to give a shit about what he's going through. The whole movie, too, you're with him in this journey of him coming to the realization that he is the one, the one to save the universe, which is a lot to put on somebody. And there's parts in the movie where he doubts himself. There's parts of the movie where he rightfully thinks like, nah, I'm not, I'm nothing special. It just works, honestly. The effects, they still hold up to this day, and actually they pioneered a lot of the effects that are still used in movies today, like bullet time. I mean, you got 300, basically any Zack Snyder movie using these effects. You got the fights were really well done. The actors actually did the fights, which makes it look so much better because they took the time to learn the martial arts and the actual move. So it made sense for the actual audience to actually watch the actors do these things. It was fun. It was like, oh, Lawrence Fishburne is actually fighting Keanu Reeves, or Morpheus is actually fighting Neo. It was fun to watch, as opposed to other movies where you see them and it's like, what the? That's the back of somebody's head. Clearly not whoever I'm watching, which is, it just takes you out of the fight. It's not as fun to watch. There wasn't that many hey, that wasn't them, or anything like that. They, when they did have stunt doubles, they clearly made it hidden. You didn't notice that it wasn't them. The story, I mean, the story in this is actually very unique. It might be in a few animes and things like that, comic books, but for the most part in the movie industry before this time, I mean, this movie was really unique. The concept of a computer being in charge of your brain and you not knowing whether the world you're living in is virtual or real, and what you can do in that virtual world. I mean, it was just amazing. I remember the first time I watched it. I mean, it blew my mind. I was like, "Wait, am I in the Matrix?" Oh, I got a little squiggly thing in my eye. I think that might be the Matrix. Stupid stuff like that. Actually, was pretty funny. When you're younger and you watch it, and when you're older and you watch it, you pick up new stuff too. I mean, oh, that's that guy from this, and that's this. I mean, it's one of those movies that go above and beyond for like your entire life. You could watch it. So it's one of those movies that actually make you think about your own life and your own like reality and stuff, which was actually really fun, as opposed to watching a movie and you're clearly aware that you're watching a movie. It doesn't suck you in at all. This one is the opposite, where it sucks you into it, where it puts you in his position. And I think Keanu really does a good job at making us feel like we're him. He's the one that's trying to figure all this out and like, hey, what's going on? They need that kind of character for us all to relate to, because honestly, when we're watching the movie, we're saying the same thing. Like, what's going on? Why is this? So they did a really good job at making us put ourselves in that person's position, giving us a character to be like, oh, okay, we'll follow him, and whatever he learns, we'll be learning at the same time. So the whole concept of AI taking over the entire world and pushing us out and creating this computer system to trap our minds basically and make us slaves and believe that we're free when we're really not. I mean, it was very, very unique. I'm struggling to think of anything that's as unique as it. That's probably why I picked this movie to be the first one that I review for you, because it's something that I haven't seen very much that comes close to it. I mean, there's other great movies, obviously, but something that really blew my mind with the thought process of it. Really, it was really cool. And, people might say like, oh, well, they stole the idea from this or whatever. Fine. They could have taken the idea from somebody else. I have no idea. But this movie made it work. This movie brought it to the mainstream and really shone through. I mean, like I said earlier, it was the basis for a lot of movie techniques, for a lot of ideas and things that become staples now in movies. So what I disliked about it, some of the fights have moments where you're like, what were they swinging at? Like, if he actually didn't get blocked here, he wouldn't have hit him anyway. So what the heck was that? Sometimes they have fights in there that are like that, or parts that it's like, wait, that why did that hurt him? Like, there was a scene. Well, I'll get to that in spoilers, but it's just funny. Like, they'll have little moments where they'll be fighting each other, and it's just weird. It's like, wait, why did you do that move when you could have just done this? But it's more of a pageantry. It's the showmanship of the fight more than it's the actual fight. The gothic and punk aesthetic, it works for the movie. I mean, it really does, but it's just not my thing. Like, wearing the big overall coats and the sunglasses inside is kind of like, what the hell? How do you see anything? I understand this is a computer program, but how do you see anything? You're in a fight here. Plus, you're in a fight and you get hit in the sunglasses. I mean, they're gonna break. Well, nobody gets shattered glass in their eyes. So that was kind of weird part of the movie. But I mean, I'm really struggling to find stuff that I don't like about the movie. Then we go to favorite parts. So this is when the spoilers start coming in. Definitely love the obvious parts that everyone knows from The Matrix. He's dodging bullets and the lobby gunfight, where they're flipping over and running on walls and things like that. Those are the obvious ones that everyone loves. But there's a scene I love the scene where Trinity is actually she's like going down in the helicopter. She's going down in the helicopter, and Neo jumps out, and he kind of like does this roll, and he's still attached by the tether to the helicopter. And instead of, like cutting the rope or like hurry it up and getting it detached or anything like that, he wraps the rope around his arm and he gets ready to like hold something. And what it looks like is that he's getting ready to hold on to the helicopter. Like, oh, I'm gonna, as this helicopter's going down, I'm gonna grab this rope and kind of, support its weight. And even Morpheus, he is in that scene at the top there. He gives him a look and his look is perfect. Lawrence Fishburne did this look so perfectly. He just looks at him like, what the hell? Oh my God, this is amazing. What is he about to do? This is, awe-inspiring. And he slides, and but he's not actually supporting the weight of the helicopter. Obviously, Trinity runs in the back and shoots the thing, and it was a scene that really it really showed their cooperation together, how well Neo and Trinity work together, and that they have like this unspoken type of bond where it's like, oh, I did this, and you just knew what I was gonna do, and you thought of this before I did it, and it really worked to show how close they are without actually being close, in my opinion. And it really showed Neo's heroism in that moment too, where he could have easily just cut the rope, or detached it from himself and let Trinity fend for herself, but he without hesitation, he just goes into hero mode where he needs to grab that line, and it was really cool to see. Also, he's unflinching. I mean, Neo he doesn't change his thought. He doesn't hesitate at all. He just wraps the thing around his arm and he's ready to go. Another favorite part, I'd say, is the obvious, the obvious ending, where he gets shot, and wakes up. It was a little corny, I guess, but it makes sense for the movie. I mean, he gets shot, and Trinity gives him a little pep talk. You can't be dead because I love you. And the Oracle said that would fall in love with the dead man, and the man I loved would be the one, so you can't be dead. And he hears that, even though he's dead. I don't know how he hears that. I guess Matrix superpower type thing, but that gives him the thing where it's, she loves me, that means I am the one, and I love her too. I guess the romance could have been a little bit more fleshed out, but they'd had their fights together where they really showed how well they were together. But I love that scene at the end where he does get up, and he's just, a look on his face, like he's so calm. Everything before then, he's been in like panic mode when he's fighting Smith and he's running from the agents and everything. Like he's had this confidence, but at the same time he has a nervousness about him. And then in that moment where he gets up, he's just confident. That's it. Everything is shed. He knows that he's the one, and he's accepted his responsibility as the one, and he stops the bullets. I mean, the whole scene is just fantastic for what they wanted to go for, and Keanu Reeves, did it perfectly. I would say that I have a couple, maybe one or two hated parts where I just absolutely hated them. So one would be the AI. So the Agent Smith part where he's interrogating Morpheus. I think that part, I think you know what I'm talking about too, where he freaks out on him. So I understand the AI, like in this universe, they learn, but they can't simulate. I mean, they could simulate human emotions, but in this moment, Agent Smith is interrogating him. He's interrogating Morpheus, and for some reason, he gets really upset. He's like, "I need to get out of here, and I'm sick of this place. It's the smell and blah blah." Ignoring the smell thing, because he even says that, like, if there is such a thing, you've infected me somehow, blah blah blah. And I guess you could chalk it up to that's why he gets angry, because he's like infected by humanity, but he's a computer program. How do you infect something with feelings and emotions? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It's just like he gets mad at him. He starts like grabbing his head, like he's all angry, like he needs to get out of here. Oh my God, give me the coach! What the hell? And it's like, you're a robot, dude. You're not allowed to be emotional. It doesn't make any sense. Plus, for his character, it doesn't make any sense. He hates humans. He thinks they're too emotional. So that part kind of, I really hated it. Just other than that, I think I kind of liked every part in the movie. Obviously, we're talking about the first movie here. There's parts in the second and the third one that, I don't like, or that are subpar, or things like that. But And this one specifically, that's the only scene I could really think of. This is one of the few movies that there's very little for me to dislike. So the favorite character, I think that's pretty obvious. It'd be Neo. Agent Smith was a great bad guy. Hugo Weaving did really well at just being that robotic. The looks that he would give were very, I'm a robot, or I'm an AI, I'm a computer program, whatever. This is my job and I must do it type of look. And he did really well. But Neo, of course, absolute favorite. When I was younger and I watched the movie for the first time, I wanted to be Neo. That was it. I mean, it was, he was relatable. He was cool. He was on point with the action, the one-liners, the stupid jokes that he would make. I mean, everything worked for that character. The emotional parts. I mean, everything worked for that character. Worst character, I'd say Switch, the blonde chick. She has an attitude, but she really doesn't fight. I mean, she was okay. I mean, APOC maybe would be right there with her, where there's two characters that are kind of pointless. They're basically props for later in the movie where they get, unplugged by Cypher, and their characters basically, they only exist so that they can die in front of Trinity's, to give Trinity something to be upset about. I mean, they had more lines than other characters in other movies do, but if I had to pick worst characters in the movie, it would either be Switch or APOC. I'd go with Switch only because I didn't like her. I don't know why. Her face, the way she talks, like, when she died to, not like this, not like this. It was just like, what? Like, I don't know. She had like an accent or something. I don't know what happened with that line, but it just didn't hit me. There was no impact on me. Whereas APOC died, he's like Trinity, and then all of a sudden he died. It's a little bit more impactful. But her, it was like, I don't know, corny. I don't know what to say about that. Maybe that should be in disliked parts too, or hated parts, or whatever too. But it was a little weird. Cypher obviously would not be anywhere near the worst characters, because I loved that character as well. Movies to compare it to, I could not come up with anything in this thing. I mean, the one maybe with Jet Li. But even that, I mean, the one was a horrible movie. It's only action, but I don't know. I couldn't come up with any movie to really compare it to. See, that's the thing, is that if you like The Matrix, then you'd like other movies, but I can't really say that if you like other movies, you'd like this movie. So this is one of those movies that's very, very unique. It's unlike anything I've seen. I mean, maybe somebody will say something in the comments and jog my memory and be like, oh, yeah, you know what? That is like that movie, and that's a little different. So if you guys have any ideas for movies to compare it to, I'd be happy to listen to you guys, because I couldn't come up with anything for this. So for my rating on this movie, it was close between Superman and Batman. So Superman being, it has everything, it hits all the parts, everything is good, there's no bad whatsoever. But I had to give it a Batman. So it's because of it's dark. There's a couple light moments, which happens with Batman, but for the most part it's dark, it's dramatic, the action is on point, the whole thing is darker, cool. It's more of a dark cool than a Superman amazing type thing. So I definitely say it's a Batman. I would wish that it would be a Superman, but if it was Superman, then it'd be more light. It'd be available for everyone. I don't think everyone would like this movie. It's honestly more of a guy movie. The girls, I know a ton of girls that like the movie, but they'd never put in their top 5 favorite or anything like that. So I'd say it's more of a guy movie, but it is for everyone. So I'd say Batman for sure. Another thing I would say about it is that the sequels, as much as people, there was a lot of hate around them, I did not hate them whatsoever. I really liked them. I liked the things that they did with them, the inventiveness of the sequels. I thought that was really cool. I wish that they did more with them, actually, and I think the weakest one is probably the last one, even though, I mean, well, that's hard to say, actually, because number one blows my mind. I mean, it's still like I could watch it and be like, this came out in 1999? Like, how the hell did they do this? That's amazing. But, to each his own on that one, I guess. Maybe you watch movies without time where you're just thinking, oh, I'm comparing this to movies nowadays and things like that. And if you do it that way, it still compares. I mean, you could watch The Matrix now, and I mean, there's a couple effects moments where you're like, oh, that was a little bit, subpar, like the mirror aspect or something like that. It's like, what? That looked a little hokey. But for the most part, I mean, when his mouth gets covered and it looks real. I mean, the way they did it, the little robot thing going into his belly button. I mean, the effects in this movie, not only were they realistic, but sometimes they scared you into thinking like, oh my god, like is that a real thing? Like that could really happen. That going into a computer system, that's not inconceivable. It's something that we could actually give to our real lives. So the video games were good too. I don't know. I just throw that in there. I liked most of the video games because the Matrix is a video game type of universe. I mean, it's perfect for video games. I don't know if the online game was good, but who cares? This is a movie reviewing thing, not video games. So I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anyway. So that is my review for The Matrix. I wanted that one to be my first one because I love that movie. I hope that you guys actually like that movie as well. If you don't, let me know. The next movie I'll be reviewing, I'm thinking. Well, actually, no. I don't want to say which one it'll be because if I go back on it, people might be like, "What the hell? That doesn't make any sense. That's not the second one." So that was my review of The Matrix. I hope that you enjoyed it. Leave feedback, comments, anything that you want to know. This is Old and New Movie Review. I think the search actually pops up on Rumble as Caveats. I don't think it's Old and New Movie Review. I'm trying to figure that all out. Rumble is a new media for me. So trying to get exclusively on Rumble. Just keep it on there. I'm going to try and get some video working because this is, a work in progress. But if you'd like some video or if you're fine with the audio only, let me know that in the comments as well. If there's any movies that you'd like me to review, let me know in the comments. Next week I'll probably be making another video. I'm not sure what movie yet. Maybe I'll be doing 2 actually because I'll have some time. So let me know what you think. This is Caveats from Old and New Movie Review, and I hope you enjoyed the show.